Hey, Tom, are you guys about ready to go?
I'm sorry?
Are you about ready to go?
We are ready to go, sir.
All right, are we ready up here?
Yes.
Amanda? Yeah. All right, let me call to order the June 29th, 2023 GOED board meeting. I will now ask the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, Melanie Sheldon, for the record. I will now call the roll. Governor Joe Lombardo,
Present.
Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony.
Here.
Thank you. Secretary of State was unable to attend today. Dr. Weldon Havens.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Josh Reed.
Present.
Miss Sasha Stevenson. Here. And Mr. Jay Barrett.
Present.
Okay, Mr. Raymond Speck was unable to attend today, as was Mr. Dale Ibriaga. Mr. Chris Sewell. And Mr. Oh, thank you. And Mr. Terry Reynolds.
Here.
Thank you, Governor. We have quorum.
Okay. Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Well, let me close the roll call. Okay, we have a quorum, so we'll close agenda item number 1, move on to agenda item number 2. But prior to Tom, I noticed Dale was supposed to do, I believe it's item number 9 at the consent agenda. Who is going to handle that?
The Assistant Chancellor will be here to address that.
You're going to handle it? Okay.
Yes, it's Ms. Natalie Brown, who's the Assistant
Okay.
Vice
Hi,
Chancellor.
Natalie. She's here. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Just bear with me. I want to make a note. All right. You ready for your speech?
I'm ready, let's do it. Yeah, ready.
Come on in.
Yeah, any particular place?
No, just find a seat.
We'll do it. Thank you.
I was just joking about the speech.
Well, in my life, you know, when you're in a college, you gotta be ready for anything. So,
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 2, public comment. Please limit your comments to items directly related to any particular agenda item, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We'll start with Carson City. Do you have anybody available for public comment?
We do have someone
We do it
here.
right.
Go ahead. Please identify yourself for the record.
Hi, I'm Dr. Carmen Hilgersum, president of Turkey Meadows Community College here in the Northern Nevada area. And I'm here to do 2 things today. And that is first offer my gratitude for the consent agenda items. And the second thing, of course, is to encourage this board's support of those agenda items. For TMCC, the total is about $1.565 million, which will go a good long way to assist in programs that have been identified for you. And we're so grateful, and I'm so grateful as the president. It's 2-year colleges do a lot for economic development. They do a lot for the residents and citizens of this region, and they do a lot for the economic health and prosperity of our region. And again, I'm grateful. I'm also here today after a phone conversation with Dr. Helens President Helens from Great Basin College. She also wanted to extend her gratitude, but she's doing what us presidents often don't make time to do, which is being with her grandchildren and also tuning into the chancellor's that is happening today for NSHE. So again, she authorized me to say also thank you for the projects on the consent agenda that will go far to assist the Elko region and serve rural frontier Nevada. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Mr. Burns?
Does not appear to be anybody else here, Governor.
Anybody here today? We have anybody online or on phone?
Melanie Sheldon, for the record. No one is on the phone, and I did not receive anything in writing.
All right. With that being said, we'll close agenda item number 2 and move on to agenda item number 3, approval of the January 26, 2023 and March 2nd, 2023 GOED board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve. both meetings.
Second.
I actually have one correction to the minutes.
Okay.
I listed me here as with MGM Resorts
Can you-
International. Sorry, Sasha Supple Stevenson for the record. In the minutes for the January meeting, it identifies me, my previous position with MGM Resorts International. And I think that should be updated as I was no longer with the company at that time.
Both items or just one?
Just the Thursday, January 26th minutes.
Okay. Melanie?
We will update
Okay,
that.
great, thank you.
I amend my motion.
We'll re-entertain. Go ahead, John.
I'll make the motion with the change, removing the former employee.
Second.
Employer.
All right, we have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We will close agenda item number 3 and move on to number 4. This is the director's report. So Tom, will you be addressing the director's report?
I will, Governor. So this is Tom Burns, Director of the Governor's Office of Economic Development, for the record. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and fellow board members, thank you for being here. I'm happy to present the board or the director's report for June 29th. This is our first meeting since the 2023 legislative session, and I want to recognize a number of people within our organization. First, our entire staff stepped up and very admirably. They represent our state very, very well. Especially, I want to recognize Mr. Jimmy Hum, our Director of Public Policy and Government Affairs. Jimmy was up here during the session the entire time, worked tirelessly well into the evening, kept everybody up to date, and I'm very proud of his reputation among our legislators. There's 6 bills I'd like to address with you as we go forward. AB 481 made $700,000 appropriation to the Nevada Main Street program. This bill enables GOED to continue and operate the program that has greatly benefits our rural communities. Sherry did an outstanding job in administering that program. AB 483 provides $10 million for GOED's Workforce Innovation for Nevada Fund that provides industry with their ability to meet workforce development. AB 484 makes an appropriation of $700,000 to GOED for the support of designated RDAs, and this bill restores the RDA's budget to what it was prior to the COVID event. AB 261 revises provisions relating to water. GOED worked on this bill with WaterSmart to successfully amend legislation. The law focuses on the efficient use of water and how it relates to economic development. That will be included in the state plan on a go-forward basis. AB 477 was inspired by the National Right to Start initiative, which aims at unleashing the entrepreneurial opportunity for everyone and reigniting America's rate of entrepreneurship. It does this by creating the Office of Entrepreneurship within GOED. SB 181 revises provisions within the economic development by increasing the maximum threshold of projected value of partial abatements to a single entity, which I, as Executive Director, may approve on behalf of GOED from $250,000 to $500,000. Deputy Director Bob Potts continues to lead our monthly RDA meetings, which is very important in messaging the strategy and messaging for GOED and coordinating the state's economic development ecosystems as we address both challenges and opportunities that are near and long term. You will see in the longer director's report, which was included in your packets, all the impressive people that Bob has included in these meetings. I'm also happy to report that Hayley, GOED's research manager, used her time in completing the state certified public management program to complete the RDA contract extensions, which are included in this work scope of revisions and quarterly reporting matrix updates. Also, Bob continues to lead the Economic Advisory Council calls, which result in the one-page snapshot given to the governor. GOED's worked closely with the formation of the Nevada Battery Coalition that is headed by Caleb Cage. They held a roundtable with the Honorable Duar Syed, Special Representative of the U.S. State Department's Office of Commercial and Business Affairs. The roundtable discussion provides an early opportunity for the Nevada State Battery Coalition to discuss critical issue areas for the lithium supply chain in Nevada and the national and key local leaders. Nevada's PCI program, which is headed by Carson Heights, launched in early January. Small businesses, especially those businesses with socially and economically disadvantaged individual backgrounds, are encouraged to visit nbsmallbiz.org for detailed information for the 5 programs that are available. In February, Nevada's SSBCI team presented at the Nevada Community Development Investment and Lending Forum in North Las Vegas, hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, FDIC, and the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. The forum focused on equitable support for small businesses. Karsten and Mindy Elliott, Nevada SSBCI Chief Program Officer, presented and formally announced and launched the Battle-Born Growth Microloan Program. Apex Accelerator, formerly known as BFAP, led by Joan Rubin, and has transitioned from Defense Logistics Agency to the U.S. Department of Defense Office of Small Business Programs at the Pentagon level, and has had several success stories. Among them are SCA Design Company, which is a certified Nevada local emerging business specializing in architectural and design services, including the concept of design, remodel, redesign, renderings, master planning, special projects, tenant improvements, commercial projects, and residential multifamily. The business was awarded a subcontracted provided through Alfredson Construction and Areola, a joint venture at Nellis Air Force Base. The company was able to add 13 full-time jobs as a result of that contract. DME Logistics is a service-disabled veteran-owned business that offers a number of services, including trucking, air freight, ocean freight, shipping, logistics, customs handling, and supply chain management. The company's government customer, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, Veterans Health Administration, Regional Procurement Office of the East, exercised the option to extend the business's contract and increase the contract value. This resulted in the company being able to offer one more full-time job. Live Electric, a company that I'm very familiar with, is a women-owned business certified in Nevada, local emerging small businesses, a certified disadvantaged business enterprise small business that provides electrical services, including commercial and industrial electrical services. The company has been awarded 2 prime contracts with the city of Las Vegas and 3 subcontracts with respective government prime contractors, CTB Enterprises for the Nevada Public Works related work, Core Building Group for the city of Henderson, and SHF International for a psychiatric care related facility. These contracts and subcontracts allow the company to add 3 full-time jobs and retain 5 full-time employees. Finally, Tony Matthews Real Estate was founded by Mr. Tony Matthews, is a small business engaged in providing professional services, including construction development, property preservation and inspection, disposition, executive coaching, consulting, and strategic planning. Tony was awarded his first federal contract by the 99th Contracting Squadron at Nellis Air Force Base. Nevada is now providing those services. Based on the contract award, the business was able to create 3 temporary jobs and keep 4 full employees. Nevada's Nevada Film Office, led by Danette Tull and Kim Spurgeon, has been very busy. As a side note, you may have heard there was a little activity around film in our legislature, and I will say they were an outstanding resource for many people in that project. The Nevada Film Office markets the state as a production destination, facilitating connections with local crews, vendors, and services, generating economic impact through the job creation and in-state production spending. The office provides production and finds crews for locations, assists in the permitting processes, coordinates intergovernment cooperation statewide. In addition to working on the Ely Film Festival, Danette has attended and promoted Nevada at the Cannes Film Festival in France. Several exciting film productions they've assisted with that include the likes of Mark Wahlberg and Nicolas Cage. They'll be premiering soon. GOED's Nevada healthcare insurance industry specialist Vance Farrow connects with many people in the field of medicine. One example that he works with and that flies a little bit under the radar is that he is the co-chair of Nevada Healthy Children, Family, and Communities Pillar. Vance led the process to create a medical vaccination clinic at the campus of Nevada Partners. The clinic was established to treat local area residents for COVID and other infectious preventable diseases via vaccination. also conducted the Nevada Partners Campus, our boot camps for matriculation of medical assistants and certified nursing assistant cohorts to address these shortages within the state of Nevada healthcare pipeline. Many of the health pillar partners came together to launch these initiatives and will continue to support additional community services. Governor, that concludes my report. With your permission, I'd like to introduce Hayley Owens, our lead economic expert, to go over the economics of the state of Nevada.
Thank you, Dr. Burns. As Dr. Burns stated, my name is Hayley Owens. I'm the research manager here at GOED. I'm going to try to share my screen. Danny, can you make me a host or co-host or presenter?
Can you hear me, Hayley? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you stand by just a second? Mr. Burns?
Yes, sir.
Can I give the board an opportunity to ask questions of you?
Of course, sir.
I assume Hayley was moving into item number 5, correct?
That's correct.
Right. Do any of the board members have any questions of Director Burns references director's report?
Great report.
I have 2 questions. Is Director Sewell there with you?
He is not here yet, sir.
Chris, can you come to the table? I have a question on the page 1 of the economic development report.
I don't believe Director Sewell's here, sir.
Oh, I thought you said he was.
No, I'm sorry, he is not.
Didn't he respond to the roll call?
No.
Oh, he did not. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I thought he did. All right, disregard. I'll ask him directly.
Very good.
But one other question is, if you go to the film, let's go to, this is a more of a just informational question on the.
Sure.
Question I had. Out of the film office, was there attempting to what production they were doing there in November?
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, it didn't come through very clear. What was your question?
Is the F1 still intending on having a film production synonymous with the race in come November?
I believe that's the case. Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yeah. It's Chris Sanchez for the record, Deputy Director of GOED. Absolutely, yes. We're in conversations with them and the LVCVA on their activity that they're doing on filming the race. They run all that internally. And so they have very specific protocols that they use. And so our office is working with LVCVA and F1.
Okay. I noticed it wasn't on the report, so thought it was more informational. Any other questions of any other board members? All right, hearing none, we will close agenda item number 4 and move on to agenda item number 5.
There we go. I was just eager, Governor, so I was excited to have Hayley, our GOED Research Director, for economic report. So I'll try again. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Burns, and thank you, Governor. Again, my name is Hayley Owens, research manager at GOED. I'm going to share my screen so I can talk through some of GOED's performance metrics and the status of our business development pipeline just a little bit. Oh, I locked my screen instead of going full screen. One moment. Okay, let's see here. Okay, thank you. So this first page of this metric report, which should be in all of the binders and is also available online with the meeting materials, really goes over on top our business development pipeline and stats related to assisted companies. And then on the bottom, it gets into some of the details for some of GOED's major programs. And unless otherwise stated, this data is through the first quarter of calendar year 2023. So it really covers the January through March period. Usually most of this data is year to date, but since it's just that first quarter of the calendar year, it's just that first quarter. So through the first quarter, we had 12 assisted companies pledged to start business in Nevada. That includes both incentivized companies and as well as companies that are not incentivized, but have been assisted in some way by GOED or our local regional development authorities in establishing or expanding their business. So these 12 companies, it is a slight decline from the same quarter of the prior year, from 15 to 12. And then as well, next you can see 861 jobs were announced by these companies in the first quarter, and that's within 2 years. And that also is down slightly from the prior year. The next metric shows the build-out job estimates, which are 5-year job estimates from assisted companies. And that is, for the quarter, was at 3,276. And actually, I have a typo on the percentage change here. I'm showing that it was a 47% decrease, but that was actually a 47% increase from the same quarter last year. So I do think that is kind of interesting that the short-term job estimates are down slightly, but the longer-term job estimates are up. And I think that kind of mirrors a lot of what we've been seeing in the wider economy, where a lot of businesses might be in something of a holding pattern, just amongst a lot of economic uncertainty out there, a lot of talk about recession fears, interest rates going up, banking uncertainty, and things like that. So we are seeing a slowdown in some of these metrics, but nothing falling off too much yet. Next on the top right is the average wage, the weighted average wages paid by these assisted companies, and that was up over the year and broke $32, which is almost $4 higher than the statewide average wage that incentivized companies are required to meet. So that's great to see higher wages there. And going to that second line, the capital investments pledged by assisted companies is also really strong in the last quarter. That does include Tesla, which was approved last quarter. And the quarter before that, we had Redwood. So you can kind of see that little line increasing really strongly the last 2 quarters because we've had these large scale projects. And then the next 3 really go through our quarterly pipeline. We had 46 leads in the first quarter of 2023, which was up from the fourth quarter of the prior year, but down over the year. We would expect the leads and prospects and pipelines to pick up in the first quarter from the fourth quarter, just because businesses tend to slow down in the fourth quarter. But again, we are seeing that those metrics are down a little bit from the prior year, which again gets back to some companies might be holding off just a little bit there. And then on the bottom half of this page, you can see stats for some of the major programs at GOED that Director Burns already spoke through in more detail. We have our Emerging Small Business Program, the Community Development Block Grants, our Apex Accelerator, which is formerly the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTAC, and then again, the Nevada Film Office. This next page, again, I'll go through this quickly because it's just more in depth of what I already went over on the first page, just that you can see the initial jobs announced and see that in context of the last several years on a quarterly basis. And same thing with the wages, which we show both for the incentivized companies receiving tax abatements and then the non-incentivized companies that were assisted. And on that bottom chart, it's showing $63.3 million in capital investment. That's just for our standard abatements. I could not chart the whole 3.6 billion total because it would just skew that chart so much. So we took Tesla. On to the next page again, most of you have seen these metrics before. We do provide on that top left by calendar year of abatement approval, how many jobs were pledged by the companies at the time they received their abatements, and then how many jobs they actually have hired as of the most recent data. And so you can see over all those years, we really actual jobs exceed pledged jobs for our abatement. So that's great to see. And then again, a deeper dive into the pipeline with leads, prospects, and wins. Again, up down a bit in the most recent quarters, but wins somewhat holding steady so far. Going on to the next page here, you can see if you so choose, just dig into the last 11 years of abatement data and assisted company data. We have that broken out by calendar year. And incentivized companies broken out from non-incentivized. And you can see the total value of abatements on the bottom left, and then the return on investment of abatements. For 2023 year to date, our ROI on abatements is $2.35, meaning for every dollar we abate, we get $2.35 in net new taxes over the life of the abatements. And finally here, we dig into each of those programmatic areas of GOED. We have Apex Accelerator stats, Emerging Small Business Program stats, which I won't go into in depth. On this page, we have the Film Office. You can see that activity continues the pace, still strong, and the Community Development Block Grants, which are doing great work throughout the state. And then finally, the last section of this report just kind of gets into the labor market in Nevada. On this top chart, we have jobs, plotted out against the unemployment rate. Nevada is in a unique situation right now where our unemployment rate is kind of stubbornly high at above 5%, but we continue to add jobs at a really strong rate, between 3 or 6% growth in jobs over the year. And down towards the bottom, we get into each of our target sectors. We have advanced manufacturing, transportation and logistics, information technology, natural resources and technology, and the hospitality, tourism, sports, and creative industries. And for the most part, excluding the hospitality and creative, these sectors were not largely impacted by COVID, and you can see even those that were are growing back on trend, with the exception of hospitality, tourism, sports, and creative industries, which have not recovered all lost jobs. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Haley. Any board members, any questions? Go ahead.
This is Sasha Sutton Stevenson for the record. I'm curious if we made the decision not to include data related to healthcare that has been provided to employees who have taken these jobs. I know that that's something that we discuss when we're considering applications, and everything else is provided here in terms of average wage, number of jobs, and investment. I'm wondering if we have the data on healthcare provided, if we track that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I can tell you, in our big master spreadsheet, we track the percentage, they're required to pay 65% of premium costs, but often they'll, pay more, 80, 90%. So we do track that. That is interesting. It's something we could report on.
Sure.
And I can certainly provide that data to you directly as well, if you like.
Sasha Stevenson for the record. I just think it would be helpful for us to see what the improvements of abatements have done on all of the factors that we consider.
Governor, if I may, Tom Burns for the record.
Sure.
Directors, Stevenson, one of the things that will not tell you is how many employees necessarily sign up for the health insurance. I don't believe that's data that we track or would have access to. So while we would be able to tell you what the requirement was going into the abatement, the number of employees that sign up for the healthcare may not be available. And there are a number of reasons that comes back to. One, the employees, while they're required to be offered it, they're not required to purchase it. And there may be a series of reasons. Maybe they have it available through a spouse, or they just choose not to spend the money to do it. So sometimes that I know that a concern as we went through the legislature was that there were a number of people that were, or companies that received our abatements that have employees on the Medicare or Medicaid list. And again, those companies are required to offer it. The people that work there aren't required to take it.
I'll revisit on agenda item 7.
So Tom or Ms. Owens, I don't know who's best to answer the question, but if you go to page 6 of the report, and for the records, Governor Lombardo, Nevada jobs and unemployment, it keeps troubling me. We're hovering around 5% when the national average is more in line with 3.5%. And I haven't been given a definitive answer as to why. And you see the increase in the jobs available, but yet the percentage of folks unemployed is not commensurate to that job availability. Is there any reasons why that you have the ability? I know Chris is not there, but maybe you two can provide an answer.
Yeah, we've had discussions. Hayley Owens for the record. Thank you, Governor. And we've had discussions with the chief economist over at Dieter and some of the other economists in the state, because we don't really have one good answer, because it is such an unusual situation. I don't think Nevada's been in, but there are a few hypotheses. I mean, one could be if we have a lot of in-migration, so we're adding a lot of jobs, but we still have a lot of folks moving to the state, and when they're looking for work, they're going to be counted as unemployed. So that could push up the unemployment rate. Also, the labor force participation rate is going up slightly, and so that sometimes there can be a quote unquote good reason for the unemployment rate going up, and that's if we have people coming in off the sidelines, like maybe before they were discouraged, so they weren't even unemployed because they weren't in the labor market. Maybe more of those folks are coming into the labor market and causing a temporary increase. We've also discussed maybe structural changes where because if we look at the sector breakdowns, some sectors are way above their pre-pandemic employment. We see that in like logistics and operations and professional business services. So maybe those industries are having a great time, doing a great job hiring folks, but then we might have unemployed, lower skill or hospitality workers that aren't getting jobs because there aren't as many jobs that they are qualified for. So that's my long answer, not short, is that a few different dynamics might be at play.
And for the record, this is Bob Potts. I'll add a couple of things to that. One of them has to do with the loss of daycare facilities, which is, everyone knows that that happened, and that takes a long time for that industry to kind of recover itself. We also know that there's a lot of folks that have decided to retire, and so they've stepped out of the labor market. And so that builds into the equation as well. So this is not a one-off. This is a multitude of different things. And it is kind of unique to Nevada because I think the next closest state to us is Oregon, and they're a full % lower in their unemployment rate than Nevada is.
Say that again, Bob, the last line.
So the next closest state to us in the unemployment rate is Oregon, and they're a full % below us. So we're right at 5.7%.
5.4.
5.4%, yeah, and they're right at 4.4%. So, and some of it has to do with the unique nature of our economies. There's also the hypothesis out there that there's a lot of leisure and hospitality workers where that's not fully recovered yet, and those folks are still waiting for their jobs to come back. That's becoming less and less of an issue as the economy recovers and people transition into other industries.
For the record, Governor Lombardo. Hey, Bob, so you mentioned retirees, but don't they get dropped off on the labor numbers?
They do, but all of that takes a little bit of time for those numbers to catch up. So they still show up as being part of the labor force, but they're not employed, okay? And so it takes a little while for that to all show up. So like I say, there's some of these series where they're starting to be absorbed over time, right, as leisure and hospitality workers come back into the labor market, but in different industries. But you also have folks that have decided to retire early, and it takes a while for them to, for those numbers to fall off the labor force measures. Okay, so that would still drive. So the unemployment rate is the difference between the total labor force and the folks that are employed. Those are the unemployed folks, right? So if they still show up on the labor force numbers, but the employment numbers are below and they're kind of collected two different ways, that leaves you a bigger gap on the number of folks that are unemployed.
So did you just answer all the questions you had or presentation you had for item 6, Bob?
No, I didn't. You want to hear more?
Okay. All right, do we have any other questions
Governor,
of Hayley? Yes, Josh.
Josh Reed, just on the film numbers, curiosity that it's gone up considerably in 2023, at least per project. It seems the numbers are up. What do you attribute that to?
Chris, you want to answer that?
Chris Sanchez, Deputy Director, Governor's Office of Economic Development, for the record. So are you referencing the assisted clients?
The annual Nevada Film Office on page 5, top left corner,
Yep.
68 million number. 2023.
So we've got 2023 at 68 million, that's right. And that's the revenue over time over the last 10-year period. And the number of productions, and you see. Per production. Sorry? Yeah, so so what we see is in the growth of the industry is a lot more productions occurring, and the types of productions that we're attracting. It's interesting. We've been on set here recently quite a bit in the last several months, and we've seen a number of factors at play. Some of it is availability in other states for production space, and then also our ability to accommodate some of the larger productions because of what we provide here in Las Vegas. So we have, and we also have had a lot of attention because of talent moving to Las Vegas. And so that's also driving a lot of eyes on the market, if you will. One thing that's interesting too is that there's a lot more, as the growth of the industry occurs and there's more production demand, the space is limited around the world. So where there is space, it's becoming at a premium. That's also factoring into that too.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
I know it's confusing because the number is so diverse as compared to 22 and the total number of productions, right?
Yeah, it just seems like the value of the production is just going up, which
Yeah.
seems like a good thing.
So that's based off the expenditures, right, Chris?
Yes.
And Hayley Owens for the record, just to reiterate what Christopher was saying, yeah, we, commercial is counted as one production and a feature film is counted as one production. But obviously the feature film will tend to have higher expenditures. And so just kind of how that mix of small scale versus large scale productions. It also, this is being reported on a fiscal year basis. So just to note that's the first 3 quarters, fiscal year 23.
Thank you.
I don't know, spooky bitches
I was gonna ask about that.
created as much revenue. as expected. It's in the document here, I didn't just say.
Shit.
Oh, I haven't seen. Any other question, any other board members? All right, hearing none, we will close agenda item number 5 and move to agenda item number 6, unemployment rate update. Tom?
Okay, for the record, Bob Potts, Deputy Director here at GOED. I'll keep this, I'm going to talk about this unemployment rate resolution just mostly as an informational piece. There's no action, there's nothing on this, but I think it's really helpful for the board to understand what this resolution means. Essentially back in 2015, and then it was updated in the 2017 session, it creates another measure, a threshold for us to be strategic with economic development. So if the unemployment rate is above 7%, we can provide more incentive. What we do is we soften the criteria to get awarded an abatement into those regions where the unemployment rate is high to encourage job creation. So once we get above 7%, essentially what it does is it takes the requirement on the wage threshold on abatements and moves it from they have to be at or above the state or county average wage to 85% of the state or county average wage. They could even be eligible for reduced abatements down to 70% of the state average wage when the unemployment rate is above 7%. Now, like it is right now, and it has been for the last 20 months, the unemployment rate has been below 7%. And so any company applying for abatements has to meet the full requirements, whether you're talking about wages, capital investment, exporting, or the health coverage requirements. So I just thought it would be helpful to talk about that a little bit. We look at the county wages. The one kind of nuance in this, and it's a bit technical, is that the county unemployment rates are not seasonally adjusted. So what that means, I'll just use an example. You have seasonal hiring in the holiday season. So all of a sudden the unemployment rate drops because you have all these workers coming in, right? January rolls around and they lay workers off again and the unemployment rate jumps, right? And so you can't really use a month-to-month unemployment rate at the county level. So we have to use a 12-month trailing so we can get what would equivocally be an annual unemployment rate to understand the true underlying dynamics of the economy within that county. So, but it adds, again, what I said earlier, it adds another strategic element where we can really focus on job creation in areas where the economy is suffering, as reflected by a high unemployment rate. So again, nothing really to measure here because we've had 20 months above, below a 7% unemployment rate. So we're all good. And with those comments, I'll open it up to any questions if people have them and wind it up there.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Any questions of Mr. Potts from any board members?
Oh.
All right, hearing none, we'll close. Thank you, Bob. We will close agenda item number 6 and move on to agenda item number 7. And we are here to address 2 abatement applications for board approval. The first company being Indigo Pharmaceutical. As you approach the table, just make sure you introduce yourselves for the record.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Governor Lombardo, Lieutenant Governor Anthony, Director Burns, and board members. For the record, Michael Walsh, Vice President of Economic Development with the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. I'm excited today to introduce you to Indigo Pharmaceuticals. Present with me today is their CEO, Dr. Rick Rossetti, and their CFO, Mr. Peter Katzberg. Gentlemen, welcome. Indigo Pharmaceuticals is requesting the sales and use tax abatement, personal property tax abatement, and the modified business tax abatement. They will hire 100 full-time employees within the first 24 months of operation with an average wage of $34.20. Their capital equipment investment will exceed $13.2 million. This application meets and exceeds the statutory requirements and has the full support of the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. Indigo is going to establish a research, development, and manufacturing facility here. They focus on 4 key segments, which is institutional practices, which is inclusive of hospitals, nursing homes, inpatient, outpatient services, physician office-based practices, veterinary practices, and exporting pharmaceuticals globally to reduce drug shortages. Now I'd like to introduce Rick and Peter to answer any questions that you may have and explain this exciting project in further detail. Thank you so much.
All right, do we have any questions of Indigo Pharmaceuticals from any board members? Yes, sir.
So this is Dr. Weldon Havens. I'm a physician. So I'm very interested in your project here. I do have some questions on health insurance. It says on the face sheet here that that the statutory minimum is 65%, company applications greater than 65%, and that you meet the requirements. However, on page 4, there's a statement here: the business will, by the 8th calendar quarter following the calendar quarter in which abatement becomes effective, offer a health insurance plan for all employees that may include an option for health insurance for dependents and employees. So it sounds like starting out, you will not be offering health insurance, and you have up to 2 years to begin to offer health insurance to 65% of your employees. That is a little unusual in my experience. I've been on the board here for 8 years or so. I have not seen this before. Why is there a 2-year delay in meeting a statutory requirement?
Dr. Havens, Melanie Sheldon for the record. That is per statute. You will see another company in the binder today with the same stipulation. So if a company doesn't have healthcare or is new to the state and is still setting up those healthcare requirements for their staff members, we do have the option to have them sign a binding letter of intent along with the application to say that their healthcare will be put in place. And if that healthcare is not put in place at the time of audit, once again, there'll be recapture provisions. The company will be deemed non-compliant and they will be asked to pay back their abatements fully at the interest rate of the day.
And that requires a vote of the board?
That is part of the application. So statutorily, a company is allowed that time frame to put that in place. And so that's why we can sometimes supplement the healthcare information with a letter of intent in the first instance. But once again, we have the company make that commitment both on the Schedule 5C and that letter of intent, we include in the pack.
So this would be automatic. Is this limited at GOED's discretion? Does that mean the administrative staff would initiate this, or does it require the board to recognize that they're not meeting the statutory requirement?
That is just part of the statute. So as I said, we will either check they have the healthcare, or we'll put something in place to ensure they commit to the healthcare, and then we include that as part of the packet. And then, as the Department of Taxation administers and audits, they'll also ensure that healthcare is put in place as per the statute.
Okay. One other question: it seems like that a lot of the products are being manufactured in China currently. Is that correct?
Many products are being produced in China, and there's a big move to bring them back to the US, especially after COVID and the current environment in China that's not too friendly to the US.
Right. So that if I didn't misread it, the products would be coming from China to?
No. We will be moving those ANDAs here and producing them wholly here.
I see. So you're not going to have finished products from China coming to Las Vegas and then Las Vegas selling them globally?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's a true pharmaceutical. It's specializing in injectables.
Okay. Thank you. That was my questions.
Thank you, Will.
Yes,
Josh?
Governor.
James?
No, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jim.
I would really appreciate an explanation of what drew you to Nevada.
Well, the first thing, the environment itself, it's very dry. We're making injectables and, mold is under control, bacteria is under control, and it makes the processing of making injectable much easier. That's the first thing. I like what we see in the actual people that are here. I mean, I've been here now for 2 years. They're friendlier. They want to work. It's a good environment, and I can't stress how important that is. Obviously taxes and abatements always attract a company coming from Florida to here, and that's important. I like that.
Transportation.
And the transportation. I mean, moving stuff from here to California and across the country is actually very easy at this point.
Educational systems.
That's why you bring a
What was
CFO
that?
along. Educational systems, yes.
Well, and then if I could, one more was, what is the source of, in the qualifications of the employees you're going to have? And connected with that is your relationship with our higher ed system.
Exactly. So depending at what level. So if we're talking about the basic technician, I prefer to get them out of high school, where we teach them from the ground up how to do it properly. We also have a program that encourages them to study and get their bachelor degree, and we actually pay for it. That's really important to us. As far as microbiology, chemistry, and all that, we UNLV, and there's several other good schools here that we can get our education. We always have medical directors involved in our decision-making process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Josh?
Yeah, thank you, Josh Reed, for the record. Just about the location, your address is on Martin Luther King. Will your facility be in?
Well, that's
downtown.
That's a research and development facility. It's 25,000 square feet off.
25,000
Yeah, 25,000 square feet. And that's research and development will start there. And then we'll build a bigger facility shortly after that.
Do you know where? Do you have an idea where?
We're looking at North Las Vegas.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another question, this is again, Weldon Havens for the record. We do have a pharmacy school here in Nevada, in Southern Have
Yep.
you had any conversation with them or any association with them?
Not at this time. But as soon as we start digging in, we plan to open that facility in September for research and development. That's when I'll be ready to go talk to the medical school and the pharmacy school.
I would suggest you talk to them sooner.
Okay,
Just, for employee awareness and ability to have an employee stream.
very good.
So to get them before they decide to leave the state.
Definitely. What I'd like to add about the insurance, in this environment of competitive nature of trying to get an employee, you need insurance. It can't be something that's delayed for years. So, I mean, usually it's 3 months, which is typical in any other company. So I want to show you that.
Okay, but you haven't yet selected a plan?
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
By the way, the process now is starting to interview for our first positions. So as we bring people on, we will develop a program to meet, our employees' needs.
Well, then, that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Sasha?
Sasha Stevenson for the record. Just to follow up on that, for the letter of intent, is that going to require that then when you decide on a health plan and you get the details that would typically be included for our consideration on page 13, will that letter of intent have a requirement that they provide this information? That goes back to my question about whether or not we track health insurance.
Yes, Melanie Sheldon for the record. So they will be advising the Department of Taxation about those health insurance, the health insurance plans that they put in place. They will also let us know what health insurance and when they put in place as well.
Any other questions? All right, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I move that this body approve the request for sales tax abatement, modified business tax abatement, and personal property tax abatement.
Havens, second.
All right, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to Nevada.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to item 7B. Next company is Trivium Packaging. Did I say that right? Trivium?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, Executive Director, and board members. For the record, I'm Nancy McCormick, Senior Vice President, Retention, Expansion, and Workforce at EDON. I'm here today representing Trivium Packaging, Inc., a manufacturing company located in the Reno Tahoe Industrial Center. We were fortunate to have them choose Nevada as a location in 2014 under the RDAW brand and are pleased that they are now considering an additional investment in our region. Trivium manufactures metal packaging, steel cans, and ends for the food and specialties market, supporting key ConAgra brands, and is an innovation leader with a broad range of sustainability-centric products, technologies, and capabilities. They operate in a 330,000 square foot facility on 68 acres in Story County and have a daily throughput of approximately 4.6 million units of cans. They are interested in making a capital investment of over $5 million and will add a minimum of 17 new employees at an average wage of $30.29 per hour. This project is estimated to produce incremental direct net new tax revenues of over $627,000 over 10 years and approximately 1.4 million overall direct and indirect net new tax revenue during the same time frame. They are requesting a sales and use tax abatement, modified business tax abatement, and a personal property tax abatement, and qualify on all three of the three statutory requirements. We appreciate the opportunity to present this to the board and for this great company to grow in our region, and we support this application. With us today is their plant controller, David Stern, and Kevin Ware, HR manager, as well as some that have joined us remotely, including their tax director, Americas, and other support staff. So we invite them to say a few words or answer any questions that you may have.
I can't see if they want to say a few words or not.
I would just thank the board for the privilege of speaking to you, and coming here today to talk to you about Trivium Packaging. As Nancy mentioned, we are a high-speed manufacturing metal packaging plant. We produce and sell over 1 billion units per year. Our primary customers are ConAgra, who we sell metal packaging for Hunt's Tomatoes, and also Rotel, as well as Bell Carter for Lindsay Olive. And we continue to look for opportunities to expand our footprint in the Western U.S. And any new business that we do acquire in the West, we will produce our products in Sparks, Nevada.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of Trivium from any board members? James? No? No? I saw you had some highlights, that's why.
Yeah. Yes, no questions, Governor. Thank you.
All right, without any questions,
Well, Governor, I'll take that back.
Okay.
I noticed.
State your name for the record.
Yes,
sir.
Dr. Weldon Havens. I see here that you're also considering the Virginias, New York, and Pennsylvania as potential locations. Can you tell us your specific interest in Nevada?
Yes, sir. As with the last applicant, manufacturing products in Nevada gives us an opportunity, gives us a foothold in the Western U.S. and gives us an opportunity to produce product and ship product into some higher cost, higher tax states, California being an example. So that's why we are currently in Nevada and hope to expand our operations.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Governor, I move that we approve the sales tax abatement, modified business tax abatement, and personal property tax abatement request.
A second here.
That was Mr. Barrett for the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations, I don't want to say gentlemen or ladies because I can't see. So. Tom, can you just let me know when we're ready to move on?
Absolutely, Governor. We can move on to the executive director's approvals. So under, in conjunction with NRS 231.0695, the director of the Governor's Office of Economic Development has the ability to approve abatements under $250,000. We have 3 such candidates here today, sir. While they have been approved, we think it's important as a matter of transparency that we relate to the board these fine companies that we're welcoming to the state of Nevada. And so with that, I would like the Pallas Industries to come forward and the RDD.
Andrew, are you available online?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Very good.
Outstanding.
Good afternoon, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Director Burns, as well as board members. For the record, I am Amy Barnes, Director of Business Development for Northern Nevada Development Authority. I want to thank the board for considering the abatement application for Pallas Industries Incorporated, or Pallas, I apologize. Pallas is applying for a sales and use tax abatement and modified business tax abatement. Pallas Industries Incorporated plans to locate in the Tri-Center in Story County, where they will develop, produce, and test solid rocket motors for the next generation of advanced American missiles and interceptors. Pallas Industries Incorporated will hire 12 new employees initially with an average wage of $45.67 per hour. Pallas Industries will be paying 65% of their employees' health insurance premiums. An NDA fully supports Pallas Industries Incorporated incentive application and respectfully request director approval for this request. Here with me today, or virtually, is Adam Kreitz, CFO of Pallas Industries Incorporated, who is here to talk a little bit more about the project and answer any questions the board may have.
I just wanted to say thank you all. We're very, very excited to be setting up the state of Nevada and building the next generation of American defense. Myself and a number of our employees, both my co-founders, are formerly of SpaceX. The goal of the company is really to apply sort of those SpaceX engineering principles, speed and cost reduction, in order to accelerate the development of American defense programs, and we think Nevada is an ideal place to do it.
All right. Is that it, Tom?
There's certainly welcome. It is, Governor, but the questions from the board are certainly welcome.
Yes, I didn't want to direct them until I heard.
Yes.
Because I can't, sorry, visually, it's very hard to see what's going on up there. So.
I get it.
Do we have any questions from the board?
I do, Governor.
Josh?
Josh Reed, for the record. Just out of curiosity, just wanted to hear from the company about environmental protections. You know, out in Henderson, it's going to take $1 billion in several decades to clean up after the last rocket fuel company. It's a long time ago. But I've spent a lot of my career on that. So I just wanted to hear what kind of environmental protections you're going to have in place.
Absolutely. So I'll start by saying that the facility that we're currently contemplating is a development and sort of small scale test facility. So the quantities of chemicals, the quantities of oxidizer and fuel that we'll have on site are really very, very low. They're in the order of single-digit thousands of pounds, whereas some of the other facilities you might be thinking of were in the millions or tens of millions. So to start with, much smaller scale as we do development, testing, engineering work. In addition, we are really, really focused on taking all the right steps on both environmental protection and safety. So we're working with licensed engineering firms, civil engineering firms, working with fire safety engineers who are certified in the state of Nevada. We're working with UES, which is a local environmental engineering firm, to have reports done, advise us on all the right steps to ensure that everything is done safely, both in terms of safe for our employees, safe for the community, safe for the environment. We also intend to purchase environmental insurance, and we also intend to do testing at 5-year intervals or when we vacate any of our sites to ensure that if there is any residual chemicals, we don't expect any because we're taking a lot of precautions and fully compliant with the rules. But if there are any, we want to make sure that we detect them, clean them, and leave the site as we found it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Tom, we have no further questions.
Thank you, Governor. I would like to take this moment to thank Pallas Industries for joining us in Nevada, and welcome, sir.
Thank you.
The only recommendation I would provide to the person presenting was to ensure that he understands how to pronounce Nevada.
That's fair.
I'll make a note of it.
We'll work on that.
We'll be improved the next time we talk to you, I promise.
All right, we'll move on to, thank you and welcome to Nevada.
Thank you.
We'll move on to agenda item 8B. Tom?
Thank you, Governor. I'd like the RDA, I believe Perry Ursom from LBGEA is present with us today, and he'll be chatting with us about Tranzonic Companies.
Oh, Tranzonic. Okay. That's good. We can flex.
We
can flex.
Perry, I think Director Burns, I think we skipped one on the agenda. We are rechargeable power energy.
You're right. I apologize.
No problem.
I'm not leaving, I'm comfortable.
Okay. Please do.
Sir, I apologize. I was out of order. Again, I was excited. So, Governor, we'd like to present Rechargeable Power Energy of North America, LLC.
Good afternoon, Governor Lombardo, Lieutenant Governor Anthony, Director Burns, and members of the board. For the record, Terry Ursom, Senior Vice President of Business Development with the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. Here today in show of support for the applications submitted by Rechargeable Power Energy North America. I will abbreviate the company's name to RPE to expedite my comments. In 2012, RPE opened their business in Southern Nevada, providing electric mobility and power solutions for consumers and industry. With the ever-growing demands of lithium battery solutions for a variety of applications, RPE is now exploring to expand operations into battery manufacturing. The first 2 years of expansion would add 88 full-time positions, paying an average hourly wage of $28.50. Capital equipment expenditure through this expansion is being forecast north of $1 million. This application meets the requirements set forth by the Governor's Office of Economic Development and has the full support of the LVGEA. We're joined today by RPE's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Sean Turner, who will provide further insight into the company and answer any questions. Mr. Turner?
So thanks again for having me here, guys. Like Perry said, we are a battery manufacturing company who so happens to also be a service center. And a lot of our manufacturing techniques came because we're a service center. Our niche market right now is all electric bikes. So all things electric bikes, we are all about it. We're actually opening up a location downtown here in Las Vegas, right on Arts District. So that's both the companies we're working on right now. The future company is to not do this at the assembly level, but the cellular level. So we want to actually start to manufacture lithium battery cells, lithium iron phosphate to be exact. Those are the ones that you'll find more for home energy storage, electric vehicles and such. So that's the new chemistry that we're working on, and I'm excited to present that to you guys today. And that's all you have.
Do we have any questions from any board members?
Just a comment, you've been in business since 2012.
Yes.
It's evolved, so
Yes.
you were on the leading edge.
Yes, I actually have a double major. So I have a background in computer engineering and a master's in electrical engineering. I actually started as a battery technician working there. And as the company kind of grew along, I actually grew it and developed the company, and now I'm running the company to this day. So that's why I really care about Nevada. Like every single one of the employees that work there, they all started right around me. So we want to not only keep this business here, but to also expand. So that's really why we're here today.
Thank you.
Mr. Turner, for the record, Governor Lombardo, just a question of what you manufacture. Are you manufacturing strictly the battery or the bike additionally?
Right. So as of right now, we're more at a assembly center. The expansion will be to manufacture the actual cellular level. There's really two types of battery cells. There's your non-rechargeable and rechargeable. Our batteries will all be rechargeable batteries, mostly for the light electric vehicle market. So yes, the expansion plan is to start manufacturing the cell level. Right now, we're just assembling batteries from raw material that we gather.
So if you're moving into the manufacturing of the cells, is that going to change your footprint?
It will, and it will change the footprint quite a bit. So yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay.
I have a question. Sasha Stevenson for the record. A question again on healthcare. You're already here operating, but it says in here that you'll meet the requirements within the 8th calendar quarter. Do you offer healthcare right now?
Yes, we do. I think we're a little bit under the 65% mark. So further information, we'll get above that mark. But we currently do offer healthcare. We just above the 65% mark.
Okay, thank you.
And we have a letter of intent included.
Right. And that will be, and for the record, Perrier, so that will be increased as a result of the incentives.
Got it. Thank you.
Any further questions? Mr. Burns.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations. We are very excited to have RPE here join us or expand their presence in Southern Nevada. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
You ride your bike in the heat?
Go I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Coasting.
So, Governor, we're pleased to present to the board today for the second time, Tranzonic Companies. Ian Perrierson is there to represent OBGEA.
Thank you, Director Burns. Again, for the record, Perrierson with the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance here today and show support of the application submitted by Tranzonic Companies. As a leading manufacturer and national distributor of consumable products from multiple industries, Tranzonic is exploring the opportunity to expand operations here in Southern Nevada. Company is looking to expand from approximately 130,000 square feet to over 400,000 square feet, adding 18 full-time positions, paying an average wage of $28.28. Capital equipment expenditure through this expansion is forecasted approximately $2.7 million. This application meets the requirements set forth by the Governor's Office and has the full support of the LVGEA. We're joined today by Tranzonic's Director of Operations, Mr. Tamer Gurgis, and virtually Mr. Tim Londo, if he's on the phone, Chief Operations. Would like to provide further insight and ask any questions.
Governor, Board, for the record, this is Tamer Gurgis from Tranzonic. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today and be part of this application.
I'm sorry, I missed your name, sir.
Tamer.
Tamer?
Like a lion, Tamer.
Tamer.
Yeah, Tamer.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Egypt.
Go ahead.
Any questions?
Do you want to talk about any of your background of the company? Or?
Yeah, so the company has locations everywhere. So based in Ohio, Cleveland, we have presence in California. We have presence in Reno, Sparks, Tennessee. We're almost everywhere. So what we do is manufacture some products, mainly cleaning supplies for hospitals, casinos, hotels, and we also warehouse and distribute a bunch of products, gloves, gowns, napkins, inner folds, quarter folds, utensils, wraps that you see in mostly restaurants, anything that's disposable. So again, we manufacture some and we buy and warehouse and distribute some. We looked at the West region where we need more capacity, so we're trying to expand. To answer some of the questions proactively, we looked at Arizona, we looked at California, and the great state of Nevada. Is where we chose to be for a lot of good reasons. Now it's actually, I'm the first hire out of the whole group because I live here, so they interviewed me and they hired me. I'm the first out of everybody, and then I'll be obviously hiring more from us.
Any questions? Any board members? Perry, I don't know if it's best for you to, for the record, Governor Lombardo to opine on this, or Melanie. But in the job creation, average wage, and equipment cap, is it 2 of 3 in order to qualify?
Yes, Governor Lombardo, Melanie Sheldon for the record. It is 2 out of 3. As per the 2050 GOED board resolution, if a company has the average wage and the capital equipment, the job requirement can be reduced down to the company to be eligible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? of Tamer? Hearing none? Mr. Burns?
Well, I'd like to thank the folks from Tranzonic for their confidence in Southern Nevada and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, this concludes the abatement application portion. And we will close agenda item number 8, move on to agenda item number 9, which is the consent agenda. There's a group of items that are voted together as a whole. An item on this agenda may only be discussed separately at the request of a board member. And Ms. Natalie, Ms. Brown.
Yes, thank you, Governor. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Director Burns, and members of the board. Dr. Natalie Brown, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development and Community Colleges with the Nevada System of Higher Education, for the record. I am here with gratitude and a profound sense of appreciation for GOED, not only for the opportunity to apply for the WINN funds, but also to GOED as a partner and collaborator with NSHE. Your support and investment in creating and growing our workforce programs makes a lasting impact on our state. Our NSHE community colleges put together requests addressing pressing state workforce challenges in line with the state plan. And the entire state benefits from these programs, and so too does local communities served by our colleges and individuals seeking fulfilling careers. These programs represent investments across our state in areas of advanced manufacturing, data science, and computer information technologies, diesel technology and mining, battery recycling, instrumentation, welding, and logistics. Collectively, they include 25 letters of support from business partners across the state, over 7,000 anticipated job openings in the next 2 years within these business partners, and also culminating in outcomes of 966 completers and potentially more in the years in these high demand areas. The impact of your support and investment in our workforce programs will shape the lives of individuals and strengthen the workforce ecosystem. On behalf of NSHE and our community colleges, I extend my thanks for your commitment, collaboration, and belief in our concept. We are joined here today by representatives from our community colleges if there are specific questions for our institutions. Thank you.
Could you introduce them?
Yes, let's see. From College of Southern Nevada, we have Dan Corsai and Dan Flick. We have Dr. Dana Ryan from Western Nevada College. From Truckee Meadows Community College, we have Jeffrey Alexander, Craig Nebust, and President Helgerson, I believe. And and the Amber from Great Basin. There she is. Amber Donnelly.
I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Governor, did Director Burns want to make any comments?
Sure. Mr. Burns, do you want to make any comment?
If I may, Governor, thank you. Tom Burns for the record. Today, we are excited to bring forward the board's largest funding request in the history of the WINN Fund. These 10 projects represent nearly a $6 million investment in the development and expansion of the workforce training programs in Nevada. That enables the WINN Fund and industry partners to provide educational opportunities and support businesses for our talented workforce. This is an illustration of GOED's commitment to comprehensive economic diversification by expanding the skills and workforce of manufacturing, logistics, and technology for the continued growth of these target sectors. Finally, I'd like to share with you that making up the consent agenda would not have been possible without the leadership of Urgiyama and his partnership with these fine institutions. As a personal note, I'd like to thank the Chancellor for his support in the first 5 months of my new job opportunity and being as welcoming as he has. As you saw, the Chancellor was unable to join us today, so I'm grateful for Ms. Brown's comments and the attendance of the community college partners.
Did the chancellor go on an early retirement?
I should recognize that this would have been the chancellor's last meeting as he is retiring. He will go to great lengths to miss one of these meetings as he contracted strep, I believe, in order to not have to attend today's meeting.
Well, I know we had some comment reference to this agenda, consent agenda from the public. Is there anybody else that would like to make comment on this agenda item that is representing each one of these items? You don't want us to come to the dais and say thank you? I jest. Melanie, this is an action item, correct? So if we don't have any questions, board members, I'll entertain a motion.
If I could, Governor.
Sure.
Jay Barrett, just a comment. Like Dr. Havens, I've been at the table for the GOED board for a number of years. And I remember the formation of the WINN program. And it is, it's very much appreciated that the partnership has worked between the providing of the dollars is one thing from the state, but the work that's been done at the NSHE level and the community colleges. It is outstanding, and I think it's very much a part of the continued attractiveness that the state of Nevada will have, that we have our trained workforce. And my compliments to NSHE and the schools.
Thank you, Jay. I need this, Governor Lombardo, I need to echo what Jay had just said. As we can see the change in workforce requirements and as compared to your traditional higher education, this is the state of Nevada, as a result of GOED's efforts, is moving us in the right direction. Because there's definitely a void in this aspect of labor force. And I think it needs to be commended for the yeoman's work associated with it. So thank you, GOED, as a group, and your participation in this effort. Any other comments? At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. Sasha Stevenson for the record.
Weldon Havens, second.
All right, we have a motion to table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We appreciate your effort truly. And we will close agenda item number 9 and move on to agenda item number 10, which is board member comments. Do we have any comments outside of the agenda from any board members?
Governor, it's Stavros Anthony.
Go ahead, Stavros.
Yeah, I just want to thank Governor Lombardo for signing SB 24, which was my bill to reauthorize the Office of Small Business Advocacy. So I'm looking forward to that office working with GOED and all the RDAs to support small business in Nevada. So just want to make sure everybody knew that. Thank you.
Sorry, Stavros, I had to step away for a second. I appreciate your acknowledgement. And any other comments? Stavros?
No, that's it for me.
Well, thank you. All right, we will close agenda item number 10, I believe it was, yes, 10, and move on to agenda item number 11. And we have an acknowledgement portion of the meeting, and I want everybody to bear with me as I read through this presentation, because I think it's important that we put it on the record how important these two individuals are to the state of Nevada and in particular to this organization. So I will start off with Mr. Kazmierski. Is he up there today?
I'm here, Governor.
You want to step up to the microphone?
Yeah, you got to go to the grown-up table.
Governor, yes, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so bear with me as I read through this acknowledgement, Mike, and I want to ensure that you hear all the words from me personally and show our appreciation as a board. So today I would like to recognize two individuals who have made extraordinary contributions to our state and have announced their retirements, unfortunately. but fortunately, it's bittersweet for me personally. I would like to start with Mike Kazmierski, President and CEO of the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, EDON. Mike has led an unprecedented period of growth and business diversification in the greater Reno-Sparks area for over 12 years. His leadership has transformed the region. When Mike took over EDON in 2011, Reno's major industry, gaming, hospitality, and leisure, was slumping badly. A local headline asked if Reno would become the Detroit of the West. Mike was a major force partnering with Governor Brian Sandoval and local developers to lure Tesla to the region. Today, the region boasts not only Tesla, but also Redwood Materials, Switch, Google, and Apple. And during Mike's tenure, EDON attracted more than 40,000 jobs with an average wage that grew from $35,000 in 2012 to more than $70,000 in 2022. During this period, the region added 108 corporate headquarters, 114 manufacturing and 67 technology companies. Mike and EDON have also played a major role in school funding, recreation, the arts, homelessness, and housing. Congratulations, Mike. I'd like to present you with a certificate of recognition. Would you like to say anything, Mike? You're never at a loss for words.
True.
That's what the legislature told me. There was a little bit of fireworks there. I do want to thank a lot of people. It would take hours to thank them all, but in general, starting with you, Governor, and the legislature for support of economic development and quality job creation. If that's not part of the state's agenda, we can't do our jobs. I want to thank you. Certainly the GOED directors I've worked with have been amazing and passionate about this state, as well as the GOED staff, which I can tell you is underpaid and underappreciated, as they will tell you as well.
Oh, stop.
But I can tell you, we can't do our job without that support. I want to special thanks to our many partners, including the RDAs we work with in the trenches, day in and day out, trying to make the state better. And certainly the EDON team. And they are also underpaid, but we give them Friday afternoons off at least, Governor. So we try to take care of them. They believe in what they're doing and do a fantastic job. Of course, our board, investors, and the local governments, partners like TMCC and others that make our job so much easier. And it's really a team effort. Economic development is a team effort. I can tell you, I am incredibly proud of our accomplishments as a region and as a state. What you recited was just the high level of many thousands and tens of thousands of interactions with business owners, companies that have come to believe Nevada is the best place in the world for business. So thanking everyone for their work on that. And finally, I am humbled by the opportunity to serve this state over the last 12 years, serve our region, and be part of what is really an exciting, probably one of the most exciting opportunities in my lifetime, and something that I will take with me for my next challenge, which I don't know what it is yet. So thanks again to everyone, and I can tell you this means a lot, certainly from you, Governor. And I want to finish by introducing Taylor Adams, my replacement, someone who is in the queue to continue moving things forward. And Governor, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring him by the office in the next month or so just to say hi.
Absolutely. Bring him forward, and reference coming by my office. I know I owe you some lunch, and I'll make sure I take you up on that, or you can take me up on that here in a short order. So,
well, thank you again.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought he was going to come up forward and speak.
Oh, is Taylor coming up, Mike?
Oh, okay. Oh, Taylor's here, yeah. Say something.
Good afternoon, Governor. Over here?
Yeah, they can't see you.
Oh.
Here.
Right here? All right. Good afternoon, Governor. It's an honor to be with you this afternoon, and thank you so much for the recognition for all that Mike's done for for what is now my community as well. I'll call it our community. It's an incredible legacy to have an opportunity to follow, and it's an honor to now be here in Nevada. Thank you so much.
Ms. Quigley?
Yes, if I might, I would just want to share an anecdote that is a testament to Mike's character. So traditionally, you would think that Reno and Las Vegas are competitors as it relates to economic development. But I also had a lot of respect for Mike. He was one of the first calls I made when I was considering applying for this job. And in very typical Mike Kazimierski style, he was candid in saying, "I don't think you're the right person. But if you get the job, I will make myself available and mentor you and help you out in any ways that you can." And he has held true to that. And he and I meet regularly, and he has been one of my greatest assets and has helped guide and walk me through some tough decisions. So Mike, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina. Would anybody else like to make a comment? All right, seeing none, hearing none. Mike, thank you. I can't embrace you enough for all the help you've given me and the state of Nevada. And hopefully Godspeed in what you attempt to do in the rest of your life amongst your other things on your resume. But I know we will still be in constant contact. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor.
All right, we will move on to the second half of this presentation, and for Dr. Harris.
I'm here.
Is he there?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, good. Well, I'd like to recognize you, Doctor. Dr. Thomas Harris, who has announced his retirement after a distinguished career as a professor of economics in the College of Business at the University of Nevada, Reno, that began in January of 1981. He served 30 years as the director of the University Center for Economic Development. His numerous awards include, and bear with me, Doc, because I was reading through your awards and I don't want to embarrass myself or you by reading it the wrong way. So give me some license on this. Gamma Sigma Delta Excellence in Research Award, Excellence in Teaching Award, and Extension Educator Award in 1988. Was that accurate?
That's right.
All right. Outstanding UCED Award for Region 9 of the UCEDA in 1994, or SETA. Is it CETA or SETA?
You said.
All right, and UNR Foundation Professor in 1997. I know I said that right. He was granted a fellow of both Western Agricultural Economics Association and the Western Rural Development Center. He received his PhD in agricultural economics from Oklahoma State University. Of all these things, all these things are really impressive. But if you really want to know who Tom Harris is, he learned English listening to Dizzy Dean. All right. I'm going to show my age. Who the hell is Dizzy Dean?
Famous baseball sports announcer.
Famous sports announcer?
No, well, he was a sports announcer later, but he was a great pitcher also, baseball.
He's famous for saying that people slut in the third base.
All right. I'm sorry. He's a lifelong fan of the Dallas Cowboys. See, I don't want to hold that against you either. Lifelong fan of the Dallas Cowboys, believing in Father, God, and Tom Landry. You know what? I think there's a lot of people in the room probably feel the same way about Tom Landry. Today, his lifelong learning consists of listening to Colin Cowherd. That's commendable. All kidding aside, Dr. Harris, I'd like to present you with a certificate of recognition on behalf of the people of Nevada. Congratulations, sir. Tom, do we have somebody there taking photographs?
We do, Governor. We got that taken care of.
Dr. Harris, you want to say a few words?
Yes, Governor, thank you very much for this great award and recognition. Also, Fred Steinman, who's taken over the University Center for Economic Development, continuing. I think it's going to make it even more more dynamic for the state of Nevada and also for GOED. Worked a lot in the 80s with then Senator Dean Rhodes on public lands issues and also economic development in our rural areas. And the university and the extension offices were
helped me a lot in trying to look and help many of our rural areas in economic development. And we also have been working a lot with Washoe and of course with Clark County. I think the University Center and your support for the University of Nevada, Reno, and the host system, I believe will also help I'm part of cooperative extension, where linking the education and some of the theories at the school with those at the level of the economic development authorities. We worked cross. I worked a lot with Keith Square, who used to be the head of SEAVR at UNLV, and we worked with many of our people with the Great Basin community colleges and things like that. So I look at this state. I came here, we only had one representative and 2 senators. Now we have, 4 representatives and 2 senators. We've gone through a great growth, and we still, with people like Mr. Kamirsky and others, I think we're going to see further growth. Also, I think in the rural areas in Nevada, we're going to see tremendous growth also. I thank you very much for this recognition. I think the people that GOED have worked a lot with, who are really helping to maintain and become a better economy in the western states. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for your service. If you don't mind me asking, what are your plans?
What do you say, sir?
What are your plans here in the future?
Basically, I like Nevada. I'm going to stay in Nevada. I know Texas is all right, but I don't like 114-degree weather. It's going to be working a little bit with still as a emeritus, working with Fred on some projects whenever he needs my help, and that's mainly it. Also.
All right. Well, thank you. Godspeed to you.
Thank you.
Tom, you have any other thing to add up there, or?
No, just that both of these men have been great assets to our state and to the regions they serve, and clearly our state's better off because both of those men had a passion for the state of Nevada. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, we'll close agenda item number 11. I have no further comments, and move to agenda item 12, public comment. Do we have anybody for the second opportunity to provide public comment there to the north? Mr. Byrne?
Seeing none, sir.
We have anybody here?
I want to
Mr.
say
Reed?
something just real quick. I just spoke from my wanted to thank the governor for advocating for state workers on increase. I'm a former local government worker, and
Yeah,
and
overpaid government.
yes,
worker.
yes, I agree. There's been enormous disparity for a long time, and in my job, I deal with state workers a lot, and there's a lot of very dedicated state employees gone through furloughs and all that. And I think it was important to advocate for state employees. Thank you for
I
that.
appreciate you saying that. Governor Lombardo, for the record, Josh, yes, thank you for saying that. And you're absolutely right. And it's a testament right here. You just read through this binder, how qualified they are and how hard they work, and the full intention of promoting Nevada and making Nevada a better place to live. So thank you for making that comment. Any other comment? Tina, Ms. Quigley?
Thank you, Governor Board. Tina Quigley, for the record with the LBGEA. I just want to comment on the legislative session. First of all, I want to thank Governor. Real early on, you came out very clearly saying economic development was an important priority for our state, and that showed in a lot of the energy that I think it brought to the RDAs and to GOED. But it was quite clear in our legislative session that we have a lot of work to do still as it relates to educating our elected officials as to why economic development is important. And as Mike Kazimierski mentioned, your staff is amazing. You are understaffed in GOED in terms of compared to other states. And I will share an anecdote that we recently sent a few people to a very big site selection conference. It was Select USA. And when we got there, apparently it was a very big year for economic development in the United States because of the Infrastructure Act and the need to onshore these companies who want to qualify for federal dollars in onshoring or establishing a presence here had a deadline of July 3rd to pick a location and state as to where they would be located. We got there. I know GOED with a few few of our team went, GOED went. We were surprised to find out that we were one of only 3 states that did not have a significant booth or presence at the conference. It was us, Maine, and Hawaii. Hawaii is not currently working on economic development, which explains that. I don't know what Maine's story was, but I share that with you because it's quite clear that the state of Nevada, historically, we have not had to put the same type of energy and priority and emphasis on economic development that other states have had. We've been very lucky to have the industries that we've had thrive here and support our economy quite healthily. But if we are serious about diversifying and bringing in those high skill, high wage jobs, we are going to have to probably put a lot more time and energy. So, thanks. Oh, and I have to thank you because we did get additional revenue. So sorry, I should have started out with a big thank you. We got we got additional revenues out of legislature and with your support. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other
Governor?
comments?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Governor, we do have somebody in Northern Nevada for public comment. Governor is Jeffrey Alexander from TMCC.
Thank you very much. I'd like to, on behalf of Karin Hilgerson, President of TMCC, thank the GOED board and Governor Lombardo for your support for these important workforce projects. We look forward to implementing them with fidelity in order to do the very best for the state and for workforce development. Certainly on behalf of WNC and GBC as well, I'm sure they'd like to extend their thanks. President Hilgerson had to step out to return to the NSHE board meeting, and she sends her very best and her thanks to you as well.
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
And Governor, thank you. For the record, Patty Charlton, Acting Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Affairs on behalf of the Nevada System of Higher Education. We would actually be remiss if we also didn't thank both you, the governor, the entire board, Lieutenant Governor Anthony, but also to personally put on the record, we really appreciate the support of GOED and in particular Stacey Boswick, who has really extended a heavy, heavy lift as we went through a new process on this grant application that changed a couple times along the way, but really wanted to just put on the record a personal extension of appreciation on behalf of all of our colleges for her extra heavy lift. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, I want everybody to know that Chris Sanchez attempted to clap when you mentioned.
I saw it. It's good. Thanks, Chris.
Have her read the minutes. All right, seeing no further comment, I will close the public comment section of today's agenda and move on to adjournment. Item number 13. Can I have a motion?
David, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Thank you, everybody, for your participation today. Well done.
Peter's proud of him.
A lot.
Good for you.
Good for you. Greece is real.